How can an ordinary bus ride home for a young medical intern and her male companion go so horribly wrong? I dread to think what happened that fatal night of December 16th, 2012, when the 23-year-old medical intern named Nirbhaya was brutally gang-raped by 6 men in that moving bus.
I am not nirbhaya. I am not the one who was sexually assaulted. But my sister and I crossed that road every day where she lay helpless and violated. On the 16th of December 2012, about 4 kilometers from my house, Nirbhaya was lying on the street unconscious in one of the safer areas of Delhi. The same street my sister and I had been taking to our school for the past 13 years. Every girl and every boy had suddenly felt exposed. They became vulnerable. They grew a sense of disharmony because the very crux of our nation had shifted from larger issues to more basic needs like personal safety. Women became empowered. The reporting of rape increased. There were candle marches. There was restriction of movement. It was like this had become the topic for every panel discussion and dinner table conversation, including our own homes. As 15-year-old girls, my sister and I felt empowered to be a part of this change. The gaps in the structure of the society had suddenly become clear. But was doing a candle march really enough? So we had this plan. We wanted to do so many things in the hope of magic happening all at once. That if our brains were mapped out, our vision boards would look something like that. We had fashion shows and like globes and adventure camps, and we wanted to do everything. But I hadn't found my focus till 2013 when I went to Lucknow to visit an organization called Red Brigade. I was fortunate enough to come across Miss Usha Vishwanathan, who is a rape survivor herself and had started this organization. I spent the entire day interacting with member girls who were previously victims of sexual assault and were now being trained in basic self-defense skills. That is me when you have Usha at the back with the entire team in my first self-defense lesson. Here, I remember talking to a 16-year-old girl called Afreen. She told me that she had been sexually abused by her brother for 7 years. She said that this camp had helped her find her focus. She was finally able to embrace the company of her new sisters and she was able to speak up. Now, I hoped that this trip would get me an idea of what I wanted to do back home, but I ended up learning a whole lot more. I learned the brutality and violence that exists in the very core of our society. All these girls were connected by a common denominator of gender and experience. They were able to liberate their mental and physical beings just through awareness. And I was so impressed by Usha's enthusiasm and her courage to fight because not a lot of people have that resilience. Conversations like these had helped me find the focus for Girls for Tomorrow. It had represented a futuristic idea of what tomorrow represented for a girl. Because it was not just about the physical power. It was the mental ability to think fast and react effectively in any situation. So now we had narrowed down our focus. We had to figure out the whens, the wheres, the hows. So my sister and I developed a detailed plans of all the locations, the venues, the snacks. And in all of this planning, we forgot to lay emphasis on the who. So on day 1, which was a Saturday morning, we reached and there were no girls. That is when we realized that we had forgotten the one thing, we had taken it for granted, and the one thing that these girls find themselves privy to, a water tanker. So the lesson learned was the importance of adaptability and flexibility. We began adjusting our plans to the changes in circumstances. We began asking the girls what they would like to do. And after this, there were some smaller challenges. Like some of the girls thought it was a judo karate class meant for boys, and it took a while to convince them that self-defense is more about a mental power than a physical power. But we just wanted to build their self-awareness. We wanted to build their self-confidence. With self-awareness about traveling in groups, being able to speak up, having your apps on your smartphone, when to seek help and when to help yourself, when to fight and when to run. And that is what we primarily aimed to build. So then, this was our first camp, and we conducted 1-hour free sessions that a group of girls came together and were trained under professionals, and we provided them with various incentives like snacks, there was yoga, there was art, and at the end of 3 months, our Saturday camp had the strength of 18 girls. And trust me, I understand the importance of that number, no matter how small it may seem. I actually see potential in 2 or 3 girls to actually go and set their own camps. In a little over 2 years now, we have 8 volunteers in 6 cities with over 30 school workshops. We have managed to impact over 3,000 lives. Just imagine what all of us can do if each one of us sitting here will take a step. Imagine the lives we will impact then. The next step was bringing the resources together. My parents have been very supportive of us, especially my mother, who had given us 5,000 rupees initially to start this organization. But then we realized that we actually had to make an effort. So we decided to involve the girls in the process because we wanted them to feel an attachment to the cause. We raised funds by auctioning off the art that was made by them in the art bazaar. And as for the skills, we were lucky enough to come across Miss Rachna, who was the chairperson of the Taekwondo Federation, and she had helped us in training these girls. So soon this word began to spread among our family and our friends, and we began getting letters from Lucknow, Jaipur, Kashmir, and everyone wanted to be a part of this cause because we had thrown a stone in the river and it created such a large ripple effect. Now, in the coming years, we would want to induct more chapters. And I remember Kamini, who was a 15-year-old girl, and she was one of our initial recruits. She once told me that she can go to the market to buy milk and sugar on her own. She was no longer afraid. And that is what it means. Our Kolkata chapter has recently raised 5 lakh rupees. We have recently established ourselves as a foundation. We were lucky enough to come across Mr. Vicky Kapoor, who had helped structure the programs in Krav Maga for the girls. But besides all of this, the greatest achievement for me was this letter from a night with, because she told me that she wants to be a girl for tomorrow, and she asked me if I would join her. And that was our greatest achievement. We began to conduct workshops with in other schools. Like I said, we collaborated with Delhi Police. And we had started GFP at school, which was a campaign primarily to build self-defense and create awareness. This was an article that I had recently come across in the Mint magazine, and it was a girl in an Ivy League college who had recently faced sexual assault. She's carrying the mattress as a sign of the burden the victim of sexual assault has to carry. And that is when I realized that this problem exists in every strata of society and not just the economically deprived ones. Okay, so what do we want to do next? We want to induct more chapters. We want to make this an essential life skill and include it in a part of our school curriculum. Because this is essential. Self-defense will always be related to self-confidence. Just knowing that I can protect myself, that I am independent, I can do this on my own, will change something inside of me. And the picture of these girls are the initial recruits. We have Dalini, Kamyanti, Seema, and Rani. I asked them once what Girls for Tomorrow means to them, and their answers were on that platter. It means courage, safety, support, and action. That is what it means to be a girl for tomorrow. That is what represents the power of a woman. Each one of us today has it in us to be a nirbhaya. We all be afraid at times, but we can all make a difference. We just have to take that first step.